Hey, 1 2 1 2. Okay, testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. Let me know you can hear. Mic check, mic check. Okay, thanks, Francis. Okay, I'm a minute or two early. We'll get cracking in just a minute. Hey, Sander. Hey, Roz. Everybody's checking in. It's time to party. Okay, let's go. Test 1 1. Test 1. I don't know, man. How's that recording audio? Okay, guess it is. All right, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus. We're here for Amazon and Apple's earnings. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Okay, so we're just about right on time. I want to say hello to everyone that's watching us on YouTube. It's going to be a long stream today. We're going to stream through Apple. Hey, George. So we'll get going. And it'll be a lot less confusing than yesterday. There's a lot less going on. We've really got Amazon and Apple to deal with, and it should be reasonably straightforward. It's expected that they both will release their earnings on time. That's the history. And we should get good moves out of these earnings, regardless of what the market's doing right now. The market's actually rather quiet right now. It would be awesome if the market stays quiet. I'd be surprised if it does, but it would be nice. You got a lot of time, so if you're trading, you might want to go to the website time.is and make sure that your computer is in sync. All right. Everybody should know what I mean. Go to the website time.is. Time.is. Click it, and it will check to see if your computer is in sync. If it's in sync, you'll get a message your time is exact. If you're not in sync, then go to the trade room file folder, okay? And you can download D4 Time and PT Sync, two sync programs. You can run them on your computer and they'll make sure you're in sync. Everybody understand that? How to do it, where to find it, etc., etc. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. All right. So let's talk about Amazon first. I am going to trade the end of the day trade. All right. So we've been experimenting, even though I admit it's not the best way to trade it when we're definitely concentrating on other things. But I think that what I'll do is I'll trade. Let me just think for a second. Today I'm just going to let it go. Just going to concentrate on earnings today. I guess people would love to see that trade. So the end of the day, you have to concentrate on them. You want to manage them like a regular trade. So I'm going to let them go for today. Let's talk about the earnings. It's so hard for me to let it go, but I will. So the tools that we're using, first thing we're going to check is Nitin, you'll tell me what happens, and Calvin will tell us what happens. It's not a problem. Let's take a look at earnings and what's going on. The major tool that we use to find the earnings is earningswhispers.com. I love the website. Nothing is perfect. Earnings Whispers isn't perfect, but it's very, very, very good. Go to the site, click on calendar. If the site's overloaded, which sometimes happens, click on the three lines on the right and you'll be able to get to the calendar even if it's overloaded. I never knew that till recently, but that's how it goes. Click on today's date and scroll down a little bit, and a couple of things that you'll see. You'll see a list of all the companies that are releasing earnings. Now, I'll watch Reddit. They've only been public for a pretty short time. I think they've only had one other earnings. Oh, very simple. I'm looking at Ian's question. Ian's asking what's the difference between a breakout and a range. So it's really simple in the sense that a breakout has a set time and a set bracket. So it's determined. It's predetermined. A range, it's based on time. And if you look at what happens when you set up a range, you have one extra thing, ticks above the range and ticks below the range. That's the bracket plus the calculation of the range. All right. So a range is based on time. The amount of time, the length of the range is what's going to determine the size of the brackets based on the time period that you're using to calculate the range and the number of ticks above and below the range. That's how you come up with the bracket. A range is great when you're just not 100% sure when something is going to happen. It also is nice if it's in a market that's quiet. It breaks out of the range. So we like ranges in the morning. It's a good, it's really just another form of a bracket trade, but it uses time instead of right at this moment, this is the bracket. So it's a different way of just getting to a similar place. Was talking about Reddit. They've only had, I think, one or two, maybe only one other previous earnings. So we'll just keep an eye on their earnings at 410. I don't really see anything else that's going to affect the markets in a way that's going to change anything that we would do today. There are other companies releasing when Amazon releases or around the time that Amazon releases, but let's face it, everybody's waiting on Amazon. The market's watching Amazon. There's a ton of earnings, but everyone's watching Amazon, and the markets are pretty much going to respond to Amazon, and that's what we're going to trade. It's expected that Amazon will release their earnings exactly when they always do, and I never use the word always with trading except on some of the earnings because it is almost an always. Amazon in their recent history, here's their recent history, starting February and going back to October of 22, they have released their earnings at 4:01 every single quarter except February 2nd of 2022 when it was 7 seconds after 4:01. So our setup is going to be for a 4:01 release. There's no reason to think that they'll release their earnings at any other time because that's how they do it. Can they? Of course. They could decide to release their earnings whenever they want to. And that would be a pain, but it would be something that happens and there's nothing we can do about it. And occasionally, companies ruin our earnings trades by not being on time when it's expected, by being early. Late is better than early generally, because if they're late, we sometimes have an opportunity to refocus and catch a trade, i.e., Boeing 2 weeks ago was half an hour late, and we were able to figure out what they were doing, and we caught their earnings, and it was actually very good. So, two things we're going to do. Bear with me here. One thing is I'm going to put on the chart a reverse continuation so that should the earnings be late or early or non-standard, you might have an opportunity to enter the market just the same. Okay? So it's nice to have an opportunity to go into the market if things are surprising or if a big fat trend is created after the earnings. So I'm just going to create a simple reverse continuation. Click the news trader. Breakout is the default. I'm going to choose reverse continue. I'm on full size NQ for Amazon. Keep in mind, margins are raised for Amazon and Apple. MNQ, NQ, ES, MES. That's what the trade desk told me. And that's the way it is. They raise them. We have to deal with it. It affects me. It affects us because I would prefer to trade multi-contract on this report, but because of margins and because we took cash out of our account, I have to trade smaller. It makes it a little trickier to trade. It's easier to trade two positions than one. And the reason for that is because if you get your first target, you can move your stop. And you're not guessing what the target's going to be as much as you're guessing when you only have one position. So it is harder. But we have some cool things in the software that'll help us. So finishing the reverse continuation, just one position, a 70 tick target. Remember, the goal of the reverse continue is really just to get in a trade and be able to trail. That's all. Okay. I didn't do any breakouts at all. So everything will be revealed. Reverse continues the first setup we're doing on the trading chart for Amazon earnings. Just looking for a 70 target and a 40 stop. And I'm trading it in our cash account. That'll be labeled revised reverse continue. And that trade is that trade. Okay, second thing, Amazon. So our history is we believe we know when Amazon is releasing their earnings. We're going to see the earnings get released because they are going to be at 4:01 or real close to it and the stock price is going to pull us, the movement is going to pull us into the market. It almost always does. So I'd be very surprised if we don't get pulled in one way or the other. We're not going to try and guess the direction. So we have a strategy. Add a second strategy to the chart if you're doing the reverse continuation on the same chart. It's a breakout for Amazon. We're going to trigger our breakout at 16:00:55. Probably could do 57. Right now I've got a 65 bracket. And I'm thinking a little bit bigger because these markets, it's going to get real volatile as we get close to the close. So, I mean, normally we do between 65 and 85. And I can only trade one position, one contract because of margins. So that's the tricky part. I'm going to use a target of 120 ticks. But what if the price goes 75? Because remember, we have a big bracket. What if the move is 150 ticks in our favor in total, and then it reverses, right? Completely reverses. It would not hit my target because you have to figure for the bracket. So that would be really depressing if you got the trade right and all that you got wrong was the target. That would be so frustrating. So the feature in the software that'll help us, if the market should move 50 ticks in my favor, I'm going to move my stop to break even plus 35. That way, if I get that crazy reversal after the market moves nicely in our favor but doesn't hit my target, I should be able to protect at least 35 of those ticks for profit. That's what that does. Okay? That's what that does. So I can use a big target. Don't forget the stop is 65. I can use a big target. If it doesn't hit the target, if it hits the target, we're smiling. If it doesn't hit the target, it's no big deal. Okay? If it's a whipsaw loser, then it's a whipsaw loser no matter what. Nothing you can do when the behavior doesn't agree with a breakout. So one more time, 16:00:55, 16:00:55, 65 bracket, 120 tick target, 65 stop. If the market moves 50, break even to 35. If I were trading two positions, which a lot of you are in a prop account, I would use a target one of somewhere like 30 to 40, and then I would use even a bigger target on target two, like 150. Okay. Everything else is pretty much the same. You might want to move your stop to break even minus 10 if it hits your first target, something of that sort. I'll check my bracket, even though it makes no sense to check it this early, by setting the time to 0. Spread the bracket a little bit, getting ready for the end of the day for everyone. Setting my account on the trading account. We're labeled breakout NQ. Apply it, okay it, put the chart trader on the account you're trading on, and now we're watching and waiting for the end of the day. Make sure that you've put your time back to 16:00:55. Okay, that's our Amazon setup. Now, of course, I'm dying to trade that end of the day trade. I cannot control myself, but I don't think I can get it set up fast enough. But I'll probably try. I have a template, end of the day trade. See if I can find it because I'm a nut and I cannot control myself. End of the day, NQ breakout. There it is. Put it on Apex. Apply it. Okay it. Chart on Apex. It's not labeled properly, but that's okay. Gonna leave it that way. Let's see if it works today. You never know. The only difference that I would do with MNQ is a 250 tick stop. That's it, Russ. And I would use the 75 bracket without a doubt. So two changes. Apple moving up as the day ends. Apple's a mystery in terms of their earnings. Wow. No idea what's going to happen there. Amazon, hard to tell also. With all the tariff stuff, all the things going on, it's really complicated to try to figure what's going to happen. Will they have guidance? You know, some companies have not had their guidance. There's our orders. Now, that's a crappy move. When it does what it just did, now I am hearing more buy side than sell orders, but it's still not going in our direction. Look, we never promised the end of the day trade would work every day. This is one that's not going to work. And it's interesting that it didn't work because it's got a lot of buy side orders. So it is what it is. That's the only one I'm interested in taking today. And sometimes it will not work and you're just not going to cry about it. But it's interesting how the market was so up and now we're getting some sell off. Getting some sell off from that end of the day news. It's not really news. It's all right. So we're watching. We still have time. Amazon last quarter. Orders on the chart way too early last quarter. But notice right at 01, it hit, and that was an awesome, awesome trade. Big, big winner last quarter. Perfect. Perfect. M2K. What's M2K? M2K. What are you saying? I'm missing it. My brain's gone. Oh, Mike Russell. So, all this testing, after a while, it becomes kind of silly, right? One day it's M2K is working, one day it's uh, MNQ. At some point, you have to make a choice and really look at the market. And you could test forever. By the time you're done testing, the market's going to change. You're going to have to start your testing all over again. Seriously. It can get very crazy, very crazy. That's why I think if you test too many markets, you may never trade. You might not trade enough. You'll never make a commitment to any of the markets. Um, Jim, I see what you're saying. Today I'm sticking with Sim. This morning's trades. This morning was very volatile. You were up and then it froze. One of the instruments for one of the platforms froze this morning. It can be so frustrating when uh, when the technology gets in the way. The one thing you want to be able to count on is the technology, and sometimes the technology gets to us. So I'll show the breakout on the NQ. 160055 on the activate. 160055 bracket of 65. I think that bracket should be fine. I'm only trading one position. If you're in a prop account, I would trade two with a target of around 30, 35, and a second target of 150. The stop is 65. That's the trade. If you're just trading one, like I am, then I'm using, if the market moves 50 ticks, move my stop to break even plus 35. That's like an auto stop if everything reverses. If it just moves in our favor, hits the target, then that won't come into play. And then label your trade, breakout, choose the account you're trading, apply it, okay it. Make sure your chart trader is on the right account and then enable it. All right. Okay, Ian, you good? On the reverse continuation, that's not etched in stone. I've got a 70 tick target, one position, a 50 or a 40 tick stop. It's only if there seems to be an opportunity after the news. You can also put that on an MNQ chart if you want to. I like having a reverse continuation on micros because I'm not a great after the news trader. I could do better. So I'll put two positions on the MNQ with a target of 100. Two positions, two contracts, one position. Okay, that's the way I like to do the scalps. 200, 150 tick stop. 150 tick stop. And I'll leave that on my apex because if I get a good opportunity, I'd like to make a little bit of that back. Apply it, okay it. It's already on apex. I'm not even going to look at it until the main trade is over. If it's a phenomenal trade, I probably won't do anything except bask in glory or cry like a baby. You can always you always want to enable the reverse continuation. Remember, it's totally discretionary. It just puts buttons on the chart that you don't have to touch unless you want to trade. So you don't have to do anything. So always enable it because you're never going to turn it on unless you want to. So I do believe that Amazon will be exactly on time. I have to try to control myself because it's a one contract trade to at least let it go. If it's not fast, to at least let it try to go 50 ticks. So it's quite a sell off at the end of the day. Was anything said? I don't see anything. Well, there's always idiotic tariff news that screws everything up. So I'm not sure where this comment came from. Trump's China tariffs aren't temporary negotiating tools, they're divorce papers. That's the market is not liking that comment, and it doesn't say who said that. Market Watch. So that's not great news, at least to the market at the moment, because it's done a major sell off. See what I mean, though? If you're concentrating on the end of the day trade, you might have gone in short and made your money back, right? Amazon can still move this market in any direction. Ian, it's only your first week. All right. So our orders are going to go on the chart at 57. No, sorry, 401.57. We have another minute. Sorry, another minute. Exactly. Why did Market Watch have to make that comment right before the close? It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's for insider it's for insider trading, you know? Why else do they do this stuff? Possibly. My personal humble meaningless opinion. I don't know that. But it certainly gets you thinking, doesn't it? Like the guy that's going to write that comment, if that was my job, I'd do a little sell action. Oh, shh. All right. Now, that was a very slow Amazon trade. They came out, it hit my first target. Now they're very negative, but that was the earnings and that software ability absolutely saved me. I think maybe a short could work here, but I'm going to wait for Apple. I'm up a little bit on my first target. It looks like I really thought Amazon would be short because of all of these tariff problems. I feel like I got filled before the news came out, but it's going to test the low. MNQ, I had put that short on in my Apex account. I'll take that shot. So I made a little bit of money back in my Apex account on that quick scalp for a test of the low. Okay. Ian, very good. That's about all I made. I only made my first target, 155 bucks. And we'll talk about it after Apple if we want to, or after we're set up for Apple. I'm taking a chill right now, just watching the market. I'm not going to take a second scalp. I took one. All right. Turning off my breakout, turning off my reversals for the moment. For the moment. So, Roz, one position on full size is 500 normal margin. Okay. Ian, I'll explain it. It's simple. I'll explain it. You always want to have one on every trade, every trade, especially if you're good at seeing market price action after news, reversal continuations. You could make more money than on the news trades. No, Roz, the MNQ is a $500 margin, so it's going to be times four. It's going to be, you really need to have about five, right? You should have about $5,000 in your account. If I'm thinking about it properly, and I'm thinking they're going to charge 500 times four per contract, right? So 2,000 per contract, two contracts, one on each side. Sometimes a broker will charge you both. So it could be 5 grand. Okay. So NQ is going to be 10 times that. 10 times that. Yeah, exactly, Ian. That's exactly what it does. So looking at the strategy, when you choose reverse continue, when you choose reverse continue, all you need is a position and a target and a stop. That's it. One position, a target, and a stop. And choose the account you're trading it in. All right. Down at the account. Then when you apply it and OK it, once you enable it, your reversal, it'll give you two buttons in the upper left-hand corner, instant long, instant short, and that's it. I did hit it short, but I did it on my middle chart, the MNQ, because I'm trading my boss's cash, the company's cash account, and I'm super careful in that account. And yeah, it would have been a great winner. It went way past the low. So that's okay. I scalped it in the Apex account, which is fine. These are all not my accounts. These are companies. Actually, that's the Apex is mine. So I was not going to trade cash because I've got that mouse problem again. It's driving me crazy. Let's get Apple set up. So let me get my charts. Apple should have just as good a move. Apple is just as easy in terms of time, but let's be honest, Apple's been giving us some trouble. Trouble, as RoboCop would say. There's going to be trouble. All right, we're already pretty well set up for Apple. Get the news. For people that are out there wondering what we do, we are looking at Thinkorswim and TradingView free to look at the charts, listening to Financial Juice Pro in my headset, so I always know when the big earnings are immediately released. If I don't see it, or if I'm in the middle of trading and can't pay attention on the news feed, this is the Thinkorswim news feed, which is pretty good about announcing exactly when the earnings come out. Okay. Now, Nitin, why did that blow up an account for you? It was a straight move down. Where was your fill? Where was your fill? You too, Calvin? So I would like to know where your fills were if you had a problem, because looking at my, let's check it against cash fill. So 19899 long. 19, it was a long. The trade was a long. It moved up before it moved down, and it moved up significantly because it hit my It moved up over 130 ticks long because we had a 75 or a 65 bracket. I'll tell you, okay, so minimum it moved was 65 plus 50 because I had a 50 tick target and a 65 bracket. Okay. That was a long trade first. And if you didn't protect your account with a stop being moved, that could have hurt, right? So you understand why, even though it could. So, Calvin, that's why I always do it automated. You can never move fast enough manually. It's not possible. You can't do it. You can't do it. I believe that on these earnings, especially in these markets, you want to protect yourself with a target one stop move or, oh, I didn't look at Reddit. Forgot about Reddit. Let's look at Reddit. Thank you, everybody, for reminding me. We have plenty of time to set up. Oh, they were early. So Reddit didn't affect the market either in a way that would have mattered. However, Reddit is an expensive stock that might be tradable at a better time when it's not waiting on Apple and when it's not in the middle of Amazon. So I would not give up on Reddit immediately. We don't really know what it's going to do. Now, Airbnb, Calvin, never moves the market. They don't move the market. It's just not important enough. But I think, Reddit is but who doesn't use Reddit? And they're gonna ruin it too by starting to charge. Everyone's gonna get ticked off, but it won't kill them, and they'll make a lot of money. They are gonna start charging. I was reading, which bend over, everybody. The party's starting. Reddit. All right, Apple. Okay, so we're looking at Apple free trading view. Let's set up our Apple trade. So, Calvin, if you're not using the software, then you might not, it's hard to protect yourself. But use that target one. That target one, if the market moves, it doesn't hurt you. It only protects you, right? So I'll go over that again. I'm going to do it again on Apple. So let me load. And then on fills for cash, our cash fill was 19899, and it was a long trade. It was not a short trade. And I do want to thank everybody on YouTube. I'm not ignoring people on YouTube. Hit the like button. How many companies really show this kind of trading online? I don't know anybody who has the guts to do this online in front of other people. Nobody. Or the stupidity. It may not be guts. So it's interesting, though. A lot of reports or a group of reports in the trade room about prop account disasters. But our cash account was fine. It worked fine today. Yesterday, we got a bad fill on one of our earnings plays in cash, but no freezing, none of that. But it can happen on any account. But one of our users just had a mess of a freezing, and then a couple other folks, one other I think is saying they had some freezing, and then plenty of people with fine prop trading as well. So it didn't seem like it was all that crazy today. It didn't seem like it should be a big problem. It was fast, but not crazy. Let me get the Apple template going here. Apple history also very reliable when it comes to the time. We have struggled with Apple in terms of reliability. But it's had two nice winners in a row. Apple offers great opportunity, and I'd be a liar if I said it's a guarantee. Everybody knows none of this stuff is guaranteed. So why do we consider it a family money trade? Because its history really has been quite good. Yes, it goes through periods where it's lousy. Yes, it could lose money today, but it's had a very nice history of making money for us. So this is another one. I'll take the trade, one concert, one contract. I got music on my mind. I'm going to activate Apple. So here's Apple's history. Years ago, if you remember, the market used to close between 4:15 Eastern and 4:30. And it was so hard to trade Apple earnings because that 15-minute close creates a gap. Anytime the market is closed, even if it's closed for 3 minutes, the time that it reopens after the close is a gap, right? It's going to be a gap. It might be small, but a 15-minute gap can really be big. Can really be big. And we could never get our orders on at the right time because we had to try to wait for the gap. Otherwise, the gap could screw up the bracket. So we really struggled trading Apple, and it was half the time it would lose because we couldn't get the order on right. It was all random luck. It was just random luck. Then the market gave us a gift. They kept the markets open. So now we don't have a gap. We just watch Apple. They're pretty reliable. They're very reliable, actually. Putting my orders on at 16:29.57, and I expect that Apple will be right on time. 4:30:01, 4:30:03, 4:30:06. That's what Apple does. All right. Their earnings should come out seconds after we put our orders on the chart. I'd like to use the 65 bracket if I can. One position. Similar setup to Amazon. I mean, there's really no reason not to use the same type of setup. If we get that good move, then maybe I could make 100 ticks. But if I don't get that good move, so I'm trading one contract, one position. I have a nice big target, 120, 130, 140. Okay? That's up to you. It could move 200 ticks, Apple, plus the bracket. It could. We've seen it. It happens. It could move 30 ticks, but that's very unlikely. Stop is 65. Right now, bracket is 65. Targets. If you're trading in a prop and you're trading multiple positions, I would use like 39 first target and 150, 60 second target. And I would protect myself with a target one stop move, maybe break even or break even minus 10. All right. 200 stop should be fine, Roz. On these, there's so much volatility. I think you can even go 250. Think about, it's how much money is it? It's 50 cents. It's $125. Not forgetting all the craziness that could happen, right? Blowing through the stop. But you could get positive targets also. How many times have we made more money than we expected? It's not always negative slippage. I shouldn't have to say all that stuff, but it's true. Plenty of times we've made way more money than we thought because we got positive slippage, meaning it got out of the market way past our target in our direction. Okay, getting back, because I can't shut up, getting back to how do we make this safer with one contract. Apple bracket right now 65. Trigger at 16:29.57. It could probably trigger at 58. I'm trading one position, one contract, target of 120, stop of 65. But the big but is if the market moves right above unattended, if the market moves X ticks, 50, because I like that number today, move my stop to break even plus 30 to 35. That way, if there's a big reversal, doesn't hit my target. You noticed I didn't do anything on the Amazon trade except watch it. It went up, it hit my target, the stop moved to safety, it reversed and took me out. I didn't have to do anything. It was in a trade under control. All right? It was a trade that was under control. I'm going to check my bracket by putting my charts on sim. They're on sim. Label it Apple BRK. All right? Apple BRK. And I'm going to look at my bracket by setting the time to 0. Apply it. OK it. Put my chart trader on sim. And when I turn on the Apple breakout, I could see my bracket. And the bracket is very manageable right now. You notice we're not getting filled. The market's not crazy. Okay. It may get more volatile as we get closer to Apple. That's why it's hard to shrink. It's hard to shrink the target, the bracket, and the stops. The volatility will increase. So if I were trading two targets for prop, I would go with anywhere between 25 and 40 on my first target, and on my second target, anywhere between 100 and 175, believe it or not. The key is protect yourself with your target one stop move. Make the target one stop move something like break even or break even minus 10, BE or BE minus 10. And that way, if there's a reversal, it hits your first target. That's what target stop move means. If the first target is hit, move your stop here. So it'll move the stop to break even minus 10. So it's not 65 anymore, it's just 10. And you've hit your first target, so you'll have a profit if it reverses. That's why I love this software. One more time. 1629.57 trigger, bracket 65, stop 65. If you're prop and you want to trade multi, if I was trading prop today, I would actually trade 3 positions. I would do position 1, 20 target, position 2, 59 target, position 3, 120 target. And then I would use target 2 stop move just to be ridiculous here and more confusing. Target 2 stop move. If you use a 3 position trade, you don't have to move your stop until you hit target 2. Or you could still use target 1 stop move, right? But you can trade 3 positions with the software. What's the worst that happens with a prop account? You blow it up. If it's a funded account, then it's much more painful. So, you have to make risk decisions based on what you're doing, what you're trading. Are you trading a very important account that you don't want to damage? Are you trading a test account that you want to see how this stuff works? All this matters. Okay? That's how I make my decisions. It doesn't mean it's the only way. It doesn't mean it's the right way. I think you all get it. Now I do have a reverse continuation that's still set up on my MNQ Apex. I'm going to add a position to that. A third contract to a second position. So my MNQ scalp has 2 contracts at position 1. It's only 50 cents a tick. 2 positions at position 1. So now what I have to do is shrink my first target to 40. And now I'll do my second target as 100. My stop is $1.50, 150. It's just a scalp. But I would use a target stop move. and I'd go to break even on a scalp. Okay, BE, and then that's in my Apex account, and it's still labeled MNQ reversal. And as Ian was saying, do I turn it on? I'm turning it on right now because it just gives me buttons that I don't have to press unless I want to. Okay? That's the beauty of discretionary trading. You make the decision. Oh, Ian, you are gutsy. Gutsy. The Apple bracket 65. Frank. So, Apple, let me show you last quarter to make everybody excited. I'm not going to show any stops. I want to be positive completely. And we had a real nice Apple trade last quarter and the quarter before. I mean, I don't mind showing a stop. It's important to see a trade gone bad so you know what to expect. We don't hide. You can't hide when you do this live. So I'm never hiding videos. I'll show a stop. And then I'll show, I think we had a $2,000 Apple trade. That was just a horrible whipsaw. And it doesn't look, it's hard to tell. It's a little bit, that trade, the software saved us. I made money on that trade with a whipsaw because I used the target one scalp. Okay. It's so important. I think on earnings, I I realized that if you don't use the target one move, you might miss a pullback that doesn't stop you out and a bigger profit. But I think more often it protects us. And TJ just scalped MNQ, very nice. That was a great scalp. Look at the squeeze signal you got on a 1 minute chart. The squeeze is a phenomenal signal when the squeeze works, and no indicator always works, but you can kind of see when the squeeze is prone to working. When you get those momentum bars that are big like that, and then it changes momentum after going down, 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 down. That was a really good helper from the squeeze. And where do you put your stop? Below the low. It's not that risky. Those are almost a market gift, that kind of a scalp, TJ. So, way to go for catching it. Now, I'm too busy, we're too busy setting up things, so I'm not looking to trade right now. But if you're alone in your office, these are the things you see, and you're not in the room for whatever reason, there's lots of opportunity around the news. We say it all the time, around the news. If you hate trading exactly at the news, there's so much opportunity around the news. It's not easy, recognizing the price action, because what indicator really are you going to use that keeps up? The only indicator I've ever used that doesn't lag is tick strike from Financial Juice. And what are you going to do today when they throw up a message? Tick strike's not working right now. They have a problem. Maybe, and I don't know what the problem is. There's something going on with tick strike on the feed. It may be that regular tick strike is working. It says tick strike on the feed. So I'm not 100% what they mean by that. All right. I think I should shut up. All right, Doc, I'll look at it after the trade. Thank you for that. Everybody should pay attention to Doc. He's been here as long as I have and does some great trading. And he lives in the craziest place in the whole world, the Villages in Florida. They have their own insane YouTube channel. It's so crazy there. Probably more than one. All right, let's get a good move out of Apple would be a nice way to end the day. 429, 429.57. Our orders will go on the chart. I think Apple's going to be a negative, but I'm not going to trade it that way. I'm going to trade what the market gives us, right? I cannot imagine. I don't know why anybody would buy an Apple these days. I know I'm going to get killed for saying that. I love Apple. I know you think I'm crazy. I love Apple, but I think they have so much work to do to get their technology caught up. Other than the speed of their laptops, the speed and the chip, it's just not enough. But I still love them. I don't know why I love Apple. I was an Apple fanboy. We used to wait online, iPads, and I love Steve Jobs. All right, we have 30 seconds. A lot of people hate Apple, but they're a great American success story. And they don't always do the right things with their right to repair. You know the deal. It's truth. Complicated company. Now there's nothing you can do when you get a move that it wasn't even the trade. It wasn't even the trade. It was just a weird, kooky, crazy move. Um, they missed on China revs. I'm not jumping into anything at the moment. Right now, it's looking down, but it was really a. It wasn't a terrible whipsaw. It was just a crappy whipsaw. So it wasn't a big stop. It was just a small, a mediocre loss is the way I would characterize it. It just wasn't a good move. It didn't follow through. It just didn't work. But it's also, you could see there's a lot of indecision in how the market is reading this data that they're releasing. So I would be extremely careful about what you do. I'm not sure the market's convinced. I don't know that the market's convinced on direction yet. Right now it's looking stronger down, but I'm not jumping in yet. I may not jump in at all. I don't really need this anymore because I've got it on my trading view chart. So if I want to trade a scalp, I'll do it in the MNQ. And right now, I don't see a real positive direction, one way or the other. Yeah, see, it's so fascinating. Nitin made money on that. I got stopped. Earnings, they're so fast, so fast. Ian, I'm not sure that anything would have worked other than random luck on that trade because it was a whipsaw. Um, and where everybody got filled would probably be quite different, quite different. It's the kind of move, the exact kind of move we don't want to see. In all honesty, it's the kind of move you don't want to see. And we'll look at the video and you'll understand after we look at the video. I'm just watching. I'm not really seeing much of a second opportunity here. Not really seeing it. I don't want to go either direction because The market doesn't seem to want to go either direction either. It already tested the low with Amazon. Just watching. It's got the short feel now stronger, but I think, there's definite risk this time of day. Don't forget the markets close at 5 also. So this is a short trade if you get in. The markets close in 27 minutes. It's not my favorite time to trade. Volume and liquidity is going to dry up. Okay. Yeah, that's almost exactly what I lost, Ian. And that's what you're supposed to lose when it works properly. Calvin, I don't know if that would have protected you, right? Let's look at the video. Let's look at the video. First, let me thank everybody. I hope everybody on YouTube enjoyed watching this. Real life trading with real people. That's what we try to do. Hit the like button on your way out, and I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you that joined us. It was a very nice crowd on YouTube, so thank you. And hit our notification bell so you know the next time we'll stream. Because I'm going to shut off our YouTube stream now, and we'll see you the next time. So thanks everyone on YouTube. Really